Hello and welcome back to CPR's Clubhouse Live. My name is CPR Jose Ortiz, a.k.a. the Infer Arn Anderson, and I'm being joined by the Horsemen. We got J.J. Dillon, Gino Caporale, and the nature boy himself, K7 Flair. Tully Valentine is not here. Tully Valentine is not here, but we already have an episode with Tully Valentine. That was our previous episode. I just want to say, you guys are some of my favorite people, but I have not been so disinterested in freestyle in a very long time. But 2021 has really made me question my loyalty and my care and my love for the genre of music. We went from the iconic slipping through my hands to tomfoolery in 2021. There was a lot of people last year with comments about that release, which was the number one release for 2020. TKA slipping through my hands, and here we are, June of 2021, and we have had what, 3 great songs in 2021, and everything else is mediocre. And when I say 3 great songs, I mean like the best of the bunch that we have. We have the number one song for 2021 so far, 418 Freestyle's Mia Inside Out. And of course, we got 2 songs by Nelson Rego, Broken and We Were Meant to Be. Those are high quality, high mark freestyle songs. Everything else for me falls and bears in comparison. So, Gino, I'll start with you, 418 Freestyle Head and 418 Freestyle Music. How do you use 2021 so far when it comes to the freestyle genre?
I'm on the same page with you. I think there's only a few really good releases, but I think that people got disgusted. I think of all the drama. I think people started to get disgusted and started to back off. I know Willie backed off a little bit. We backed off a little. Kay backed off. Even George Anthony. I mean, I think George Anthony has something coming out, but he sort of backed off. I think for us, between the pandemic and the drama, we just wanted to take a step back. And we concentrated on the Mia record.
Yeah, and what I noticed too was that the people that were talking a lot in 2020 were also silent. Like they had 6 months, anywhere between 6 and 8 months to really put some good stuff out, and most of them didn't put anything out. We're still waiting, and so all that puffery, as I say, and nothing.
I don't know. I mean, the way we work and the way I've always worked was I have to have that passion, to release something, to go full force on it. And to be honest with you, freestyle wise, I don't think I've had that in about 9 months. I'm starting to get it now. We're setting up some nice releases.
Right.
And we're going to be very consistent. We're not going to release 30 songs like we did in 2020, right. But they're going to be quality. They're going to be spaced out. And that's just the way I feel. I mean, we had to regroup. We were a label that had employees, and pay out in the pandemic sort of hurt us a little bit. But now we're regrouping. We're back in the office. We have new employees. We have new interns coming. And we're starting to, summertime's big for us. So we're starting to build that catalog for freestyle and basically for the dance and the house music. We have about 60 releases we're going to try to get out by the end of the year for dance. But you can do that in that genre. Freestyle's a little bit different.
Yeah, we're gonna circle around back to you and talk about the new Brenda King Star, which is amazing. But let me touch base with Flair, K7, and so here we are sitting here, the Horsemen, and we are talking about 2021 so far. And again, we went from the iconic slipping through my hands that made that buzz, and we lost friendships and we lost people that supported us. I'm looking down my list and I see a lot of missing people. From my list from 2020 to 2021, and I'm okay with that because I know they're still listening and they're still, waiting to see what I do next. But how do you feel going through being the artist that sang "Slipping Through My Hands" to now 2021? We go back and forth all the time, but publicly, how do you feel as being one of the mainstays of this genre?
Hi, Aaron. I'm using your room because your sister's like, I'm sorry, guys. Because your sister.
No, it's okay.
Because your sister's throwing a fit.
You can leave us in suspense.
So I'm using the room. Do you mind? All right. I'm using my kids' room because my daughter was throwing a fit downstairs in the main room. So, all right. So, let me explain to you. So, when Slipping came out last year, I took a stance of I wanted because we did it in such a quiet way. There was no fanfare. We didn't talk about the record coming out until a few days prior. So when I began to do interviews, I took the interview as as a way to talk to my peers then and my peers now, to say we're part of something, and if we focused, we can get a second musical chance at at this music again. What I meant by that was we've already had 20 years of a show resurgence, and I just figured that now we could help it by getting new music and being the first one out the gate. This is not to negate what other artists were doing. This is just to say that because I'm one of the artists that's always performing, we have now a vehicle that we could all use. Let's get the movement going. For me, it was a shame that it fell on deaf's ear. It also was a shame to me that my peers then and now got distracted by anything that they could get distracted by. The negativity, it's nothing new. It's been the disease that's been killing this music for the past 20 years. It's still there and even stronger than before. To use a bad pun, the vaccine ain't working.
Right.
The slipping through my hands vaccine ain't working. It just made it worse.
We need a freestyle back summer.
Yeah. And I'm basically I'm disappointed. Like, I speak to everybody. Everybody's either calls me to talk about things, whether it be advice or to tell me what the new drama is. Um, I guess they want me to pick sides in whatever issues that they're having with whoever they're having. I don't really want to pick sides. I really don't want to be involved. I don't want people to. I don't want to be involved. I have a problem.
And what is it about?
I just don't want to.
Yeah, what is it about this picking sides thing? Either you're with us or without us, or it's with us or against us. I mean, why? I've seen that recently, and there are two things that I want to bring up, as you stated. One of them is picking sides, and the other one is getting into personal stuff. Personal and business are never supposed to, interact or clash with each other.
You know what's funny?
What's it?
Over 12 years ago, when my issue with my former partners started, everyone put a parachute on their back, jumped out the plane and said, I'm not picking sides. I'm not picking sides. If you were close to me, some did. A lot of people who were really close to me that I loved chose to stay neutral. Along the path, they would dib and dab, they would flip flop, come in, come out. But everyone was saying, I don't want it, because they always said if the situation resolved itself, they didn't want to be on the bad side. Now, today, everyone has an issue and everyone wants you to pick a side. And now I look at it and I go, not that it's revenge time or it's, karma time, or I'm just like, hey, listen, maybe you guys had it right the first time around. You're kept out of my thing. Well, I'm going to follow suit. I don't want to be involved. And people keep dragging me into it. They keep fishing for me to get involved in it. They name drop me every chance that they get, in their situations or whatever the case may be. I really don't want, if you're my friend and you call me for advice, I'll listen, but I don't want to be involved. I don't. You know why? Because I just think there's two roads. There's the music, or there's the BS. And I'm more worried about this continuing. And for this to continue, the BS got to stop.
So what's happening now is, even when the top tier talent like yourself, the people that have been doing it for a while, have asked the community to stop the nonsense and to, you know, negate from taking part in it, they're fueling it by becoming like connected to it somehow, and somehow becoming a spokesperson. Like I see that there are a lot of fans that want that fandom, and they want to be bigger than the artists that represent the genre truly. And then what they do is that they get involved, and then they start trying to get personal information and start spreading it behind the scenes in messages. And then they try to go on social media and using their lives to talk about those things that they know nothing about, but they rather have that front that they are experts in the genre of music. And then what they do is they build a lot of people up. Case in point, I want to say Mia. Mia was being built up in 2020 with the remake of Judy Torres's No Reason to Cry. Then she came over to 418 Freestyle, and they were hyping her up as this Inside Out record was coming out on 418. And here we are, 6 months in. She's the number one song of 2021 so far. And now, little by little, they're trying to drag her into negativity. They're trying to drag her into creating these posts of videos of her talking about her frustrations and her issues and the things that people have brought forth to her. And she can't enjoy the fruits of her label or her labor, 6 months in as we celebrate Inside Out in 2021. Gino?
Gino?
I'm sorry, I had us on mute. I didn't want to come. Let me answer this carefully. I agree, and I think Mia's smart enough to see around all the bullshit. But that's what this genre does to you too. When you start to get a little bit of success, when you start to believe in yourself, there's always going to be haters and doubters that come in and want to tear you down. She always said, I've been in the music business since I was 5 and different genres, but not freestyle. And I try to tell people it's just a different animal.
Yeah.
Freestyle's a
we
different
warned
animal.
you before you got into it many years ago. The Freestyle Club warned you, and you were like, okay, I can handle this. And then, 2 years in, you're like, your hair is being pulled out. You're like, what's going on here?
Look,
we could. Here's the strangest thing. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Gino. Is
it's okay.
We're speaking. We could substitute any name. We could substitute. We could go back in time. We could go back 30 years. We could substitute any person's name, and this situation keeps arising.
Yeah, of course. They even bring up your name. They say K7 TKA is trying to stop Mia from performing. Like you have a magic wand, and you could call.
First of all, I've met the young lady on.
Yeah, that's not true.
On 3 occasions. Gino asked me, and it's hi and bye. Hi, how are you? Bye bye. Even 2 weeks ago in Orlando, I came out the elevator. Hi, how are you? I greeted the people she was with. I really don't know her, and then I saw her one time outside my hotel room. She said hello to me. We had an interaction of maybe a minute, but I don't really know her. Gino presented me with the song, and I wanted to do Gino asked me, would I be interested? I said, I'm not going to do it as TKA. If I did it, it would be
actual.
Something actual. So it would be me and AB. I said, let me live with the track. I'll tell you about it. And then the actual stuff and the TKA stuff and my K7 stuff is so important to me right now that I only wanted to focus on what I'm doing musically. Right. So I can't focus. I can't put my mind into something else because I'm not, because I don't want to half-ass it.
Right.
I don't want, I don't want to do it. It's just, I have a lot on my plate. I asked not to be part of it.
So you were asked to do a remake of Inside Out, and you can't at this time because you have projects going. But why is it that your name is always being brought up when it comes to new people getting canceled off shows? I mean, I don't see you doing that.
I'll tell you why. And, I'm gonna further the conversation, the joke conversation that I had online.
Yes.
Because to this community, I'm a member of the Illuminati. So I'm gonna come out, and because you guys keep saying it, because you keep talking about that there's a freestyle Illuminati, which there isn't. But because you guys say, I'm just gonna say, heck with it. I'm gonna give in, and I'm gonna say I'm a member of the Illuminati. I pray to an alien god. My job is to make sure that nothing happens, that none of us succeed, that the music stops.
Yeah, I pray to my TKA championship title right here.
that freestyle stops today, that that no one makes money. That's my job. That's my new goal in life. It's ridiculous. People, look, I call it freestyle QAnon because right, because you guys because the stories that you guys make up are ridiculous. I call it the freestyle Illuminati because you guys give us too much power. First of all, I want to tell you the hierarchy in our business. So yes, there is a top tier of performers given. None of those artists, unless they are a promoter or a booker on the show, have the right to say who is on the bill. I am not a booker. I am not a promoter. I get paid as a hired gun, which is an artist. So I go in to do my job. I don't care about anybody else's job. I love my peers, but they're there as hired guns themselves and have to complete their jobs themselves. I have no business in telling anyone who to hire and who not to hire. Have I been asked, oh, should I bring someone in the past? Yeah. But in all honesty, that's not my job. The job of that belongs to Vito Bruno, Vic Latino, Sal Batello, Brian Rosenberg, Latif Mercado, Ruben Martinez, Betty of Troy, Alan Beck, Bobby D, White Knight in Chicago, Kelly in Chicago, Charlie Rodriguez, Zeke, all those people, those are the people who control who can be on a show and who can't be on a show. I want you to know that no artist is that. Now, if I have a problem with someone, and I don't want to ruin the event, I would say, put me in a situation or put me away from someone that I'm going to have an issue with.
Right.
Meaning, keep that person away from me.
Right. And we know some of the stories from the past and some of the factual and actual things that have happened. You see what I did there? Gino, I see you sitting there. Do these things that happen make it hard to conduct business?
Yeah, to a certain degree, I think it makes it hard to conduct business. Even back in the day when I had freestyle artists, I think Kay's right on point. It was all about the promoter. We weren't able to say we didn't want, Collage was on the show, so we didn't want anybody else, or this person was. We weren't able to do any of that. It's always been about the promoter. As far as a label, yeah, I mean, you have a new artist, you want to get a new artist on shows. I see now that Jenny Renee is on shows, and I see that me is on shows, and I'm seeing George Anthony's on more shows. So I'm happy because at one time they were associated with the label. But in 2020 and 2019, 2020 was a wash. They weren't able to get on shows, and it wasn't anybody's fault. It's just the fact that when you have a show like a Sal Batello show, he's going to put on 10 artists that have hits from the past, and that's going to sell tickets. Some of these younger artists are too new; they're not going to sell tickets.
If it's Sal's show, if it's someone else's show, Sal turns around and says, "Here's my list. Go online, look at who I got. These are the people I can get. Tell me who you want."
Right.
And if that person turns around and goes, "What about this one? TKA can't do it because they're doing this show. All right, then I want such and 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 such. And so I'll go,
Yeah.
all right, what's, that's your budget? He goes, yeah. He goes, how much you got left in your budget? I got, this one. Oh, well, these are the people that do it for this price. What
Right.
about this person, this person, this person? And that's how these shows always get on.
Yeah, as a promoter myself,
Yeah.
I have experienced that. I have experienced many artists telling me that they don't want to be on a bill with certain people. And it's just new school eating the new school, or as we call it, what is it now? The new wave with the new wave.
Could you stop that?
I'm just kidding.
There is no such thing as new in free. A new song, new music. That's the only new. That is the only new. There is no such thing as new wave or new school.
Hey.
Stop it. All of you are the same age as us. If you are within a 10-year age range of every freestyle artist that started this, you're in the same age bracket. You're down with us. You are the same age freestyle. Plain and simple. So, that new school stuff, that divide and conquer stuff about that new school, no, we're all the same crabs in the same bucket, and you're all acting the same way. You're all dragging each other down. Stop acting. You ain't new. They ain't none of y'all that are new. None of y'all.
So I'm going to circle
stop
back.
Using that term.
I don't care about the term. I'm just saying that I've had many experiences, especially with my last show, which hasn't happened over a year. We had Cynthia, and we had Cynthia, the Dream Girls. It was all female show, and then the ones that were having issues were the newer artists not wanting other newer artists to be part of the show that they were a part of, and they had already agreed to be part of. So I dismissed both artists. I'm like, you're not going to perform. They're not going to perform if you guys are having, and I get somebody else. And so, but I don't understand this high school mentality, where now it's you have to choose a side. You can't have people performing with people that they don't like. If you had a friendship, and as you know, as I say before, and you could count this day by day, and to the point, freestyle friendships last 3 months or less, right? So once that relationship has weathered away and they've broken apart, now you got to choose a side. You got to choose a parent. You're going with your mom or your dad, right? And then if your mom and your dad start having freestyle shows in their areas, you can't go to your mom or your dad's because the brother or sister is telling you, oh no, if you choose that, then I won't talk to you anymore. And that's the same mentality that I got last year with TKA slipping through my hands. I got shunned by people that would travel from New York, Florida, other parts of other states to come to my show to debut music. Now they were giving it to DJs that nobody heard of because they were upset with me because I was the executive producer of Slipping Through My Hands. And even though I got a medium TKA hard hat on, and you know what I mean, like that was done for me. I've never, K was one that didn't want to be part of any countdown or didn't want to be on the top 10 or anything like that. But I'm like, no, that's not how this works. Everyone's included in the bucket, right? And then the best of the best are the ones that prevail. So I can go back and talk to you about 2020 and say the great songs that came out of 2020, but I can't tell you any great songs that has come out in 2021 other than the 3 that I mentioned previously, because everything else either is not as good or up to par to what happened in 2020. So we took a nap for 2021 in the first 6 months. And so we're here trying to understand the community and trying to understand why now we're mobilizing the fans to become part of a movement where they're going to be speaking on behalf of the artists and fighting their battles, even though they don't have 100% of the facts. It's a situation where we're taking away from the stuff that we should be focused on, which is the music, the promotion, the building up artists and not tearing them down. It's just, to me, it's so disinteresting and uninteresting, and all the negative things that you can say about not being interested in a genre. Sometimes I struggle to get on my show platform to put out the content that I put out, because people are more interested in K7. Hey, he's trying to keep me down, or Gino Caporale and streams, or stupid stuff that has nothing to do. Like, I wish that fans will stop being presentados.
Here's the thing. So our community of musicians and wannabe musicians, okay? I know whoever's listening, you can pick whichever one pisses you off more. You can gravitate towards either one. Either you're a musician or a wannabe. What runs rampant in our circle, in our community, in our genre, is the lack of business savvy and business knowledge. This is perpetuated by legends as well, who pretend to know what the business is and don't know what the business is, and then turn around and tweet about being taken advantage of business wise. I want you to know that if you want to be a musician, you have to learn the business. One important thing that you need to have is a music lawyer. Have yourself a music lawyer, and don't speak about music law or things that have to do with music unless you speak to your lawyer first, because it'll stop you from looking ignorant, first of all. Second of all, there's rules, there's things that people need to know. Now, when the fans get involved in the defense of these artists, the fans are being tricked into the defense of this artist because they want to feel, and trust me, it's, I've had fans come to my defense and I'd be like, don't worry about it. Listen, it's my issue. Don't worry about it. It's my issue. You don't have to do it. Right? I had friends who did, and I've told them I appreciate it, but you didn't have to do that. Right? But what happens is they end up looking, because they might not know the true or full story. They end up, when they get involved like that, they end up looking stupid. And then later on, when said artist, D ends up being friends with artist C or artist A or B again, then the fan is on the outs. Then the fan has to now feel awkward. Now the fan has to turn around and try to save face. And that's been happening so much that it's horrible. We're an online community of 1,000 some odd people, of which none, NONE, buy records.
Yep.
To some degree, it works to Gino's defense of streaming, because they will stream a record, but they won't buy the record. Now the DJs expect it for free in our community because they're DJs in our community and they feel like they're our friends. But we, the artists, live off money. And the only way to make money is by selling something. And, the merch is cool, but that's not what you got into this business for.
Right. I agree.
It's become a merchandise genre where it's a shirt or a cup of coffee or
but just because you tag the word freestyle or onto your group logo onto something does not make it a long-term viable business. I can turn around tomorrow and take a catchphrase from my favorite TV show, and I'm going to make a few $100,000 because I use that catchphrase and put it on a tie-dye shirt, right? And depending on how I make the font, I might sell. But that's not viable. See, at the end of the day, I want to make long-term money.
Right.
I want my song to get to get picked up and put in a movie. I want it to be on a TV show. I don't want it to just appeal to the 1,000 people that are on that follow us in this community. and I also don't want it to be drowned out by the hate. So I'll give you an example. Um, it was my favorite song last year. I've spoken about the song a lot, but it got drowned out by all the nonsense that was happening last year. To me, still one of the hottest songs last year was Barrios and versus
Yep.
Zone.
Believe in Love.
Believe in Love.
Yep.
But at the time that it came out, it got drowned out because everybody was worried about talking nonsense. Where they were talking nonsense about slipping through my hands, and the streaming wars began, and everyone started paying attention to that. But that record should have got paid attention to because that record was good.
Yeah, I agree that if I were to do my top 5, that would be included in my top 5.
And people forget that me and Cynthia had a song out too, a few months right before Slipping came out.
The first family of freestyle.
And the first family of freestyle done by Tony Moran and Andy Panda and Cindy and me. And that song with the pack and Judy Torres. And with the packaging, that song should have been something.
Right.
With the packaging that it was. Right. And because of all the names attached to it, it should have been something. But it didn't, because it got caught in all the chatter that was happening at the time.
Right.
Slipping came out because, in all honesty, we snuck Slipping in. We snuck Slipping in, and I had nothing to do with that. That's really Gino and Willie's choice. We snuck it in while no one else was paying attention.
Yeah.
Speaking of sneaking it in, Gino, what are you guys sneaking in for freestyle in 2021? For the remainder of the year, is there going to be a couple freestyle tracks from 418 Freestyle?
There's going to be, I think, probably about 4.
Okay.
We got a new Elvira Miglino. We're getting that ready now.
It's not Maligno?
Miglino. Trying to think what I can talk about and what I can't talk about.
That's fine. Let me ask you about Brenda K. Starr. She released a remake of Climax's "I Miss You." Yes. She put that Brenda K. Starr spin on it. It's a dance song. You do have remixes for the East and West Coast. How did that come about? How did you get together with Brenda K?
I got together with Brenda K in 2019. In the beginning, she came by the office with Chris, and we spoke about a different song. And we were going to move forward and work the Billboard chart, and then the whole pandemic hit, and Brenda and I spoke but lost touch because, again, nobody was really doing anything. Just like Kay, probably I would say 2 weeks, 3 weeks before the song came out, Brenda came back to the office. I think at the beginning of May, and she played me a couple mixes, and I said, "Let me get a mix. Let me hear what else you have."
Right.
Brenda got in touch with Tim Schomer. Tim brought Charlie Baby in to do, the Bronx mix, which is sort of a freestyle mix, but I like it because it doesn't sound like every other mix. It's a little different. Then we got Slim Tim from the UK, who's big on Billboard and the Music Week chart. So it was very, very quick, and I think that's the best way to do things. Kay's right about Slippin'. I think Slippin' came out July 3rd. Was a pre-sale on July 1st. I don't think I loaded it in until July 25th, which is crazy because it takes 2 weeks to get through, but it happened that quick. And I think that's the best way. And I think with Brenda K, it's doing the same thing. Like, we're going to have it debuting on Sirius on a weekend, Saturday night, not this Saturday, the following Saturday. It'll be on Sirius XM on Saturday night. It's been added to a couple FM stations. Mm-hmm. The DJ, the feedback's been amazing because there's a freestyle mix, there's a house mix, there's a dance mix. So again, for me, and I'm going to say, like I said before, it was very easy to work a TKA record. It's very easy to work a Brenda K. Starr record. It wasn't easy.
What is not easy, though, is to pay for a bill for a podcast. So this morning, I received a $947 bill for my podcast, right? So I recall my highest rated episode was the episode when I debuted TKA Slipping Through My Hands. We got on the charts on iTunes. It was amazing. But what I noticed, because of all the issues and feedback and competition and all the blah, blah, right, that my podcast has been slipping on numbers, through my hands. And so that's because I let my opinion be known, because I'm not gonna let that stop me from talking about what I believe in. And so when I woke up to this bill this morning, it was after 11 years of podcasting, I was like, do I want to continue doing this? I'm about 4 episodes from my 700 episode, my 700 podcast episode. And so you start thinking about, like, do I really want to continue doing this with the quality of music diminishing, right? And then you listen to the Brenda K. Starr, Mia, Nelson Rego. You start thinking about, future projects by K and Actual and TKA and whoever else is coming up the line, artistic and all that stuff. And I'm like, man, I gotta clear up my credit card and pay for this, right?
You just
But
confuse the audience.
it makes and I don't want to do a GoFundMe, because I think that should be left for actual emergencies. You know what I mean? And it's this podcasting thing, even though I take it seriously, is not something that is needed, right? For many, they want to see it go away, and for some, they live by it. You know what I mean? But the point that I'm trying to make about this is that, do I want to pay the $947 to deal with the situations that are happening now of me not being interested? Like, I haven't done a CPR's Clubhouse Live in a couple weeks, because you go online and now the fans are the ones going online talking. There's a war about stupid things that have nothing to do with the music. There's no good quality of music being released, and then you get that bill, and you're like, what do? Do I pay it? Do I not pay it? Do I keep it going? And so I wanted to check in with the Horsemen, and I wanted to see, hey, what are we doing in 2021? I mean, we're already midway through, and I'm already over 1 month of my midway, because we go from November to November with our top 40 songs of 2021. And if it keeps going like this, I'm gonna have a top 20 of 2021, because there aren't 40 great songs this year. I'll have to repeat from last year, bring back Slipping Through My Hands. But it's just frustrating to me as a podcaster, promoter, and as the person that's always the enforcer of good quality freestyle music. And then I got you guys here. You're JJ Dillon over here. He's over here plotting all the stuff that's going to be coming out. I got the Nature Boy, K7 Flair, and I know he's ready to chop somebody down. But
no, but could I've been exactly where you are, and with freestyle, prior to slipping, prior to slipping, I had done the TKA 30 album, which
I love,
and I appreciate you for that. And so I had done that, and more than anyone that we have 1,000,001 conversations about how petty and how idiotic our genre has become, and how self-destructive it was. And what that did to me is it sapped the energy and the desire to want to do this music.
right.
Not because, first of all, I got into music to be a musician, not just to be a freestyle musician. And I'm grateful for the fact that, I got love from doing this music, and it's fed my family, and it's fed many families that work with me, right, for the past 30 something, not to date myself and make myself older than I am, but it's fed us, right? I look at it as something that I love that has taken a wrong turn, like a family member that's on drugs, if you will, that you want to help but just doesn't want to help themselves. That's how I look at freestyle. I look at it as something that doesn't want to help itself and only wants to destroy itself. So for a long period of time now, my love for this began to wane until don't call it love, because I was able to work with 2 guys who I had, who I still do have tremendous amount of love and respect for, Andy Panda and Tony Moran. And, doing a song with Cindy is always a pleasure because I have love for Cindy. And Judy, I've never done a song with Judy, but I just love Judy's work ethic.
Right.
That little bug. And then 2 years prior, when I was at my lowest, I called you and you turned around and you said, well, how's about I find you a song? And you sent me Slipping. And that was a shot in the arm. That really started me thinking, okay, let go and let God, right? And since then, since last year, that both those records came out, the wheels have been turning and the fire has been beginning to brew, right, for me. But yeah, every once in a while, something in this community tosses, cold water on my flame, because I think that if you're not doing this music to take it seriously, don't do this music for the BS online. Mind your business. If they don't like you, they're not going to like you. They
Right.
didn't like. I want you to know, for anyone within the sound of my voice, they didn't like TKA when we started. They didn't like us. The DJs at IDRC, the first record pool that we went to, they hated us. Some of those guys still hate us to this day. Some of those guys learned to love us. Some
Right.
of those guys learned to respect us. Right? But we didn't go away because we kept cracking at it. We didn't pay attention. I knew who didn't like me. I still know who doesn't like me.
Right.
Right? As from back then. Now, and then when we became popular, then we got the Menudo effect. Girls like them. We don't like them. But now I go to a show and all the guys that didn't like me when I was a kid performing are the guys that say they can't live without my music, that I helped them through their childhood, when I remember them from back in the day not liking me.
Right. And again, I love this music. I know Gino loves. Gino loves his 418 freestyle. I know that he loves his investment. Right. And we're gonna be saying goodbye to Gino in a few minutes. But before you go, Gino, I want to thank you for coming on to CPR's Clubhouse Live and checking in. But I can't wait to spin the Brenda K. Star and continue spinning the Mia. She will be a guest on the show to celebrate her being the #1 song of 2021 so far. But what can you tell us anything about what's happening in 418 freestyle?
Yeah, actually,
I could say it.
Go ahead, Kay.
Because the reason that he's biting his tongue is because of me. So, two things that are going to be happening this summer is there's going to be an artistic 418 slipping through my hands type of record that's coming out under AB Cruz.
Nice.
So that's one.
I'm gonna make pretend I didn't know.
And then there's two projects that are coming out that I'm involved in, and they should be out early summer.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna leave it at that. There's two projects that are coming out that I'm involved in.
Can I say one's going to be July 4th weekend because we want it to be the same time we release Slippin'? Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, but that weekend is going to be a very busy weekend because we're also putting out the AB record. If we get it,
absolutely.
If Willie finishes in time, we're going to put out the AB record because that was my word. My word is AB comes out before I do anything else freestyle. AB comes out.
Okay.
But
Yep.
I like keeping my word.
And one more thing I have. In the next couple of weeks, you're going to see Aki Star and the Force MDs coming out under Renegade, which is another label under 418. But then 418 is going to release freestyle and dance remixes. So look for that around later July. That's really good. We're talking to Wendy. We're going to have a new Wendy record by the summer.
Good. I love Wendy. Great vocalist.
Yeah. So and then there's a couple
my executive
legends.
producer. My executive producer is still intact. So So
TKA champ.
yeah, yeah. So you're still in play.
Yeah,
So,
big shout out going out to D Mike, one of my favorite producers. Big shout out to him.
Before the end of the year, since we're talking about music, the actual, you're gonna get some stuff from actual, before the actual album.
The actual before the actual actually. Let me say goodbye to Gino Caporale.
Yeah, I got to run.
I love you, sir, and we'll talk.
Love you too, buddy.
All right,
Kay, I'll talk to you 6 times tomorrow.
I told you, let's make it 7 and get my wife
right,
really
my buddy.
angry.
I love you, both of you guys. I love you
bye.
All right, love
See
you,
ya.
bro. Talk to you.
That was Gino Caporale of 418 Freestyle. He had a time limit today because he has a business meeting in a few minutes. Want to make sure I get him on that meeting in the correct time. But can you explain what actual is?
Actual is let me explain to you so that you guys get the gist of why I called it what I called it, and what it is.
Is it because is TKA spelled backwards?
Wait, let me explain it first. So, I look at AB as his own person. I think
Right.
that I think that AB, if he didn't encounter and worked with those other 2 individuals, not to mention any names, I'm not trying to throw shots or anything like that. If I did, I just would, but I'm not trying to throw shots.
Right.
If he would have not jumped into that situation for that period of time, his name as a solo individual artist would have reached a different thing, plateau, because he was making music by himself and getting notoriety from doing the AB Cruz stuff and doing the stuff with Aina, his wife.
Right.
So his name was beginning to be repeated in the circles in this community a lot more for his continually caring about the movement,
Right.
which is freestyle. So I look at AB as a person who was the beginning and the roots of the TKA, and then was able to go out on himself, and for a good 20 years did this music on his own, by himself, without anyone's say so, if you will, and did pretty well for himself. We're working with Adam Morano and all the other people. So
Right.
I said, I want to do something with you, but I want it to be special. And I want it to be something that we could both feel happy about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't have a name. We were just talking, trying to rekindle our friendship again, and get past 10 years of war.
Right.
Really 12, but that much time. So I came when we first did the appearance on the Monday Night Classics.
Right.
That week, you and I were talking about wrestling, and my favorite faction in wrestling has always been the NWO. Next to the Horsemen, it's always been the NWO. And I love the logo, which you see on his hat. Right. And I had done that logo for a T-shirt for us to sell at a show. And when I placed it down, it flipped backwards. When I placed it down on Photoshop, it automatically flipped backwards, and I saw AKT, and I said, okay. I said, actual. I said, that actually looks nice, and I laughed. So I said, actual, AKT, UAL.
Yes.
And that's it. That was it. I made the shirts, and Trey and I were gonna wear the shirts with that logo, and I wanted, when I sang with AB, I wanted to have a uniform that he and I would wear. So I made the black actual shirts.
Right.
But I said,
which was my idea, because I thought that, you guys getting together was like the NWO getting back together.
Right. And you know, it happened. The show happened to be on a Monday night, which you and I know is a sacred night for any wrestling fan, because we,
Yes.
you know, that's the thing. And
You got the Hogan beard.
and since I have the Hogan beard going anyway, I said, let's do it. So it became the name. It became the pet name for me and him doing something together. We didn't want to put it under the banner of the TKA thing, because that is that, you know, Trey, Los, and myself have created something special with that.
Right.
That
Something different.
That's something different, right? And I wanted to create something that was solely mines and ABs and no one else, and that no one else could say anything. And the goal for that is just to make our fans happy by giving them the classic sound of what he and I did together, you know, on Scars of Love and on Tears May Fall and Come Get My Love.
I loved watching you guys perform together as actual. He interrupts the TKA set. It seems like a NWO reunion. They got the NWO music in the background. They got the logo, and he just comes up and starts doing the song with you, and Scars of Love. And I just think it's amazing. It gives me goosebumps every single time. And I'm so glad that I get to not only be the executive producer of TKA, but actual, but K7 and also AB, because I don't know. It just, to me, is the ultimate compliment for me to be part of that, and for me to get constant songs and me giving my feedback, and my feedback being taken seriously, and changes being made because I say, as you can see, the Four Horsemen logo is here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you know, it's an honor for me. But I just hate the fact that people don't understand all the great things that are happening behind the scenes to make the freestyle community whole again, and to make them happy with good quality freestyle content. And then when you go and you turn on your equipment so you can send shows out to 3 different FM radio stations, you're like, why am I doing this when they're paying more attention to the negativity than paying attention to the new quality content?
And I'm getting a call from Betty D. Hold on a second. B, I'm on a live. Could you call my wife? She's downstairs. All right, bye. What do you call it? What bugs me the most about this is just, first of all, it's nothing new.
Sorry about that. I'm getting a text too from
it's nothing new. It's just sad that we have the ability to actually win with this music again. A good friend, well, not a good friend of mine, but a friend of mine, Ken Stars, is a comedian that, you know, did a freestyle challenge, and, you know, it's called the Rico Challenge, where he dresses up like an 80s freestyle artist.
Yes, I've seen those. Those are hilarious.
And he turned around. He just did a modern, you know, a young man's modern take on a freestyle record.
Right.
And he put it out, and kids are gravitating towards it. But the thing is that our community is so busy trying to knock itself down. We've made famous people out of people that shouldn't be famous. We are perpetuating a hatred for each other that is unnecessary. Listen, I work with a ton of people who don't like me,
right,
and who I tolerate, because the greater good is what we're doing, what we're providing you. The greater good is the music that we're providing you.
One of the things that I've noticed, Kay, is that a lot of the beefs that New School have started with each other, they're trying to carry over to the legends like yourself and to the others by perpetuating how much you guys don't like each other behind the scenes, but they don't understand the fact that you guys are professional.
They
Yes.
want to co-sign. Look,
So so for example, right? There's always been that beef between Stevie B and Johnny O. They if you pay them both to be in a certain place, they're gonna be in that certain place. You know what I mean? And that's all that matters to the artist. All that matter is that they're gonna get paid their fee to perform. They don't care about
with
who likes
hired guns. With
exactly.
hired guns.
So same thing with TKA. I'm sure TKA have had their issues with other groups and other freestyle legends, right? Other peers, but you guys show up. And I know that there are 2 female freestyle artists right now from the top tier talent that are beefing with each other, right? They used to be cool. They're no longer cool. They want to exploit that instead of saying, hey, let them be business women and let them do their shows. So then they're able to continue this genre the way it's supposed to be. And that's professional. And that is, showing the community that you can put things aside for the greater good of the music.
Here's the honest to God truth why it's quiet. Why some of us stay quiet. I stay quiet when I'm having an actual beef with other people. For one plain, I'm a hothead. Let me get the cat out the bag. If you get me mad enough, I'm not good. I'm not good. I'm not. So I'm not into the BS. I'm a nice guy. If it's a mistake on your part, I understand that it's a mistake on your part. But when you go after me, I go after you. And I'm not good at it. I'm not. So I don't want to talk. I'm not built for the you're a sucker. Your mama stinks. I'm not that dude. I'm not.
Right.
I'm not. And while guys are sitting there thinking that they're smart and they're talking about me online because they want to, no, papi, I'll see you. I'm not scared. I'm not scared to win or lose. I'm just not built for that. And a lot of my peers are not built for talking. And you may think that they're little people, that they're short in stature, but you don't really understand. We may walk alone, but we're not alone. We may look like, oh, you can get over on us, but you're sadly mistaken. And that's the chances that a lot of people think that they want to take or they do take. And I predicted 4 years ago, I said, pretty soon there's going to be an element in this community. And when that element comes in, you guys are not going to like it. And you guys are going to get uncomfortable with that element showing up. You remember when I said that to you, right?
Yep.
And I said, and all of a sudden, and when that element comes in, everything's going to change. And I said it like 3 or 4 years ago on this podcast with you. And
right.
What has happened? The element came in. And all of y'all are a little nervous about that element being there now because now you got to be like, and now you want to talk a little bit more because some of y'all think that the element got your back. Don't get comfortable. Freestyle is for music. Freestyle is a music about love. Go make love music. That's what we're here for. Let's promote our music. Bad thing is, I keep saying this to y'all. Y'all keep not paying attention. I either got to die for y'all to even acknowledge that what I'm saying to you is the truth, or one of y'all is going to get punched in the face by somebody that you shouldn't have messed with. And the bad thing is, y'all might get one of the fans punched in the face, and that's where it's going to get ugly because, like, you're bringing people, you're getting people involved in this that don't need to get involved. I think, look.
I see a lot of those fans that do it for sport though, because they like to jump from ship to ship to bring and carry and bring and carry. And so you can warn them all you want, but again, it's not for the sake of violence because there shouldn't be violence in love music.
It should.
Right. But the gang mentality
but here we are.
Yeah, exactly. But the gang mentality and the stupidity of puffery, because everybody wants to show theirs on social media, but when you're face to face with that person, it's a totally different interaction. they're very humble, they're making jokes, they're very quiet. You know what I mean? And it's always
Why you mad?
yeah,
You mad? You mad at me? Oh, I really didn't mean it, bro.
yeah, yeah. It's all jokes. But nobody wants to be the better person anyways anymore. And if you do show and
Yo,
if you show
I
any form
could, could I could I tell a
of
story?
yeah, of course.
I'm
And
gonna
if you
tell it.
show any form, if you show any form of taking things back or maybe taking a step back, you're either seen as a sucker or the fact that if you take responsibility for something that's not good enough, they want to bury you under the sand because that's the way they feel that you should be under them. And that goes mostly for fans. The fans are trying to bury the people that they're supposed to be supporting, right?
I, I
Which is
usually I, I usually don't do this, but I gotta tell this story.
right.
So this is something else that happens. People turn around, and if you allow them to walk away without taking care of the situation, they then turn the story around in their favor by adding a lot of, I don't want to say adobo, I want to say wax sazon to a story and make a story out of it.
Hmm.
I'll give you a case in point. I was doing something. I was I was one of the hosts at an event, and I was at the event. I was sitting at a table. I was surrounded. I had my my then brother-in-law, who was a police officer. I had my friend, who's a former football player. I had my brother-in-law, who's a bodybuilder. I had my sister, who's an Amazon, and I had Speedy at the table. Speedy. I was well surrounded. The person approached me and started talking to me about some, you know, trying to tell me what they, trying to give me a piece of their mind. But when I am mad, I let out a tirade of fuck yous. And and I try to work on logic and I try to speak with logic. But when I don't like somebody, you can see it in my face and you can see
Right.
it in my gestures. So I told this person, I'm going to do what the hell I'm going to do. No one's going to effing stop me. Not because I want to be a guapo, smart ass, just because this is what that person had pushed me to. I gave them back the piece of my mind. My stature is I'm smaller than the individual, physically
Hmm.
and height, but I'm willing to scrap.
Right.
The person turned around. I said, "Are you gonna walk away?" Hey, shook my hand, walked away. When I left the place, I said, I saw some people that we had in common. I said hello to those people. I walked out. 2 weeks later, the person gets up on stage and says that I was scared of them. Puppy, you're gonna watch this interview. Puppy, you're gonna see this interview. I wasn't scared of you, and the stories that you keep telling is not what happened. Please, this is what's happening in freestyle. People like you are messing up this whole genre. I'm speaking to that individual. If he decides to speak up about it, you guys don't know who I'm talking about. Other than that,
I have no idea of the story. It's the first time.
no, I'm saying that because I want you guys to understand this is the type of tomfoolery. The freestyle, can I curse? Can I
You've
get one
been.
out? Can I get one off?
Yeah.
Fuckery. Freestyle fuckery. This is the type of stuff that's ruining us because we're sitting here trying to pretend that we're something that we're not. Um, um,
Well, not
and
you, them.
and right, and we're dragging each other down. Um, some of us are not involved in your issues. You didn't want to get involved in other people's issues. Don't try to drag other people into your issues when they're not involved. Deal with your issues with whoever you have an issue with. Stop bringing other people into your issues.
Right. Very simple. Um.
And music over everything.
Yeah.
Music over everything. If you're a fan, please be a fan. If you want to be an internet blogger, if you want to be a gossip monger, then get yourself a show
No,
and get
I
no.
want to see those.
I mean, they all got shows. Get yourself a show and concentrate on doing the right thing for the music, even in your gossip mongering. Because if you're gonna gossip mong on this stuff, if you're gonna spread this stuff, think about, is it gonna help the music or you just trying to cancel somebody? Cancel culture is not worth it. It's not worth canceling because what you're canceling is freestyle.
Right.
We looked like, I said this to you a few months back. We're looked upon outside, for music that's about love. We're looked like as buffoons. Real record labels, Def Jam, they look at us like we're silly. People that work for Jimmy Iovine think that we're crabs in the bucket.
Right.
They think that we're silly. There's documentaries going around, and every time that the documentaries go towards the big people that would finance it,
Right.
when they study our music, what they get is your hate. You're ruining it. You're ruining it.
So I want to thank you for being part of the show. Of course, as always, you come and
This
check
is
in, and we talk
Was
about
this better than the
things.
last time?
I think it was the unreleased TKA K7 1 hour diatribe that I could not publish. I sent you a copy, and I said, "Hey, what do you think?"
Yo, I hope you deleted it. I hope you
I know I
deleted it.
still have it.
No, get rid of that.
To hold it over you, of course. And I was going to ask
Oh,
about
you
people.
got receipts too?
No, I don't have to do that. I have my voice. So speaking of receipts, you have been a victim of receipt culture, right? You have been a victim of people saying that they have receipts on you. Do you want to talk about that situation? If
Yeah,
not, we can end it here.
I want to talk about it. I want to talk about
Okay.
it. So,
So there's somebody going around with something that happened to you. Could you care to explain?
yeah, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. So I went on the freestyle cruise a year ago. Oh, well, it's a longer story. My mom caught a stroke in 2011. She caught 4 strokes in a day. So my mom is confined to a wheelchair, and she lost mobility on her right hand side. But my mom lives in Kissimmee, Florida. I live out here in Jersey. She lives in Kissimmee, Florida, in a home that I got for her and my father, with my K7 money back in the day. And so they've been living in the house for a long period of time. Um, because we've been so busy, it's hard for me to get out there to see my mom. So I hadn't gone in what seemed to be like a year. So I went out there right after the cruise. And when I went out there after the cruise, um, I stood not that far away from my mom's house. I didn't want to stay in the house. My stepfather and I don't get along because of my mother's care. He doesn't really put into my mother's care. So I um, I turned around and I decided to go visit. I had my daughter with me. I had my wife with me, um, and I chose to go out there. And when I chose to go out there, I got to the house. Um, my aunt, who was taking care of my mother, also um, was being thrown out the house. My aunt is elderly and very frail, and you know, my aunt is actually in the driveway with boxes, and I was a little appalled. So I'm trying to calm my aunt down because she's nervous and shaking, and my wife and I need 10 minutes. I'm gonna call you right back. I promise you. Um, and so my aunt is frail, and I'm sitting there lost. I haven't set foot inside the house.
Mhm.
So my wife comes out of the back of the van that I rented, and I grab my daughter from my wife's hand and say, while you talk to her to calm her down, I'm gonna go in. I'm scrolling because I'm looking for something that I want to show all of you. Um, so I enter my mom's home, and I walk to my mom in the living room. My mom is on a lazy boy um, that she lies on a regular basis. And when I see her on the lazy boy, she I'm
I'm at the foot of the lazy boy, and I have my daughter in my hands, and she doesn't. My daughter's quiet. She doesn't see me. She doesn't see me. I noticed that my mom's teeth have been removed. I never got a call to tell me that. As her own, as a son, I should have got that call.
Right.
Automatically, I got angry. And I was like, well, my mom's not at the best of health. My mom used to take care of herself. Her hair is long, but the gray started from the roots all the way back. And my mom's never been a woman. My mom was a very well-kept woman and didn't like to be.
And that's your mom.
And this is my mother. So my blood boiled. I'm not gonna lie. And I came outside, and while talking to my aunt, I asked her, why is my mom like this? Why does my mom look so disheveled? Why doesn't she look like she hasn't been taken care of? And she let me know. So I called my stepfather out into the garage.
Right.
And when I called him out into the garage, I began to rip into him verbally on why is my mom like this? This is my mother. Why are you not taking care of my mother? It's your one responsibility to take care of my mom. Why does my mom look like this? And he could not answer me. And he didn't like my line of questioning. So because I was telling him about himself, and because I was saying all the things that I was saying to him about the lack of care that my mother was receiving, he decided to walk away from me. As he walked away from me, Jose, I said, well, no, you're not doing that. And I followed him. We're in the garage. I followed him. So he enters the step up into the house through the threshold of the door. And I follow him. And he turns around, because I'm still giving him a piece of my mind. So turns around and he tries to push me out the doors. So I grabbed the sides of the doors. I pushed myself in. When I did that, he was trying to push me out the second time. Our chest bump. At the time, I was a bit huskier. Our chest met. Bumping chest, pushed him back. He fell against the table. That was it. My best friend, Mac Boy, who takes all my pictures, was there with me as well. My sister Verna was there with me. Verna's grabbing my arm. My wife is, behind them. I said, let me go. I'm not going to hit him. If my mom should pass before I should come back here again, I want you to know that I don't want you to be here when I come back. These are my words to him. I said, but I'll be back here on Saturday because I leave on Sunday. And this was on a Thursday afternoon. The boat had gotten back on Thursday. I just dropped my bags off. So anyway,
right.
I said, I'll be back here on Saturday. When I come back, I want my mother's lawyer's number and I want my mother's doctor's number so that I can call up and I can make arrangements so that someone could come see my mother. And I want to know about, my mother's will and all this stuff. I want to make sure that my mom is okay. That's how bad my mom looked for me to ask for that. Okay.
Right.
I leave. Nothing more happened. Nothing more physical happened other than bumping chest.
Right.
I could have, but that's all.
Right.
But in defense of my mother, nonetheless. Right? Verbally chastising him in defense of my mother. I come back on Saturday to say goodbye to my mom. I leave on Sunday morning. So I come back on Saturday because I was going to go eat at a friend's house out in Orlando. Show up. I call. I said, my mom's not in the living room. Bring her out into the living room so I can say goodbye. I don't want to be in the house. I just want to come in, have my mom see the baby, say goodbye to us. Then I'm going to leave. I'm waiting just to see my mom be wheeled out in the wheelchair towards the lazy boy.
Right.
Jose, all of a sudden I see the sheriff's car come by. And I looked at my sister Verna and I said, I'm about to get arrested. And she said, what? I said, I'm about to get arrested. The car turns around, comes out. He gives me my government name. I said, yeah. He says, hands behind your back. Put my hands behind my back. He searches me, puts me in a paddy wagon. My little daughter and my wife.
Paddy wagon, wow.
My wife holding my daughter. I'm in the back of a police car and they take me away. I spend the night in jail. 24 hours later, I come out. You know, they call it elderly abuse because he's older than me by 15 years at the max, right? More than 15 years, really. Maybe like 10, but he's older than me, nonetheless. And so in Florida, the laws in Florida are different. So I spend the night. So the other thing that happens in Florida is that when you get arrested, they automatically put your picture up in the newspaper the following day. So they put my picture in the newspaper the following day. I think it's the best picture that I've taken in a long time, to be exact. It's my mugshot.
That was like Jay Adams.
That's my mugshot. It's the best picture I've taken in a long time.
It looked like Jay Adams for a second. I'm like, what do you have picture of Jay Adams for?
That's my mugshot. Now, you know.
So how does this combine
check this out.
with the freestyle
what
community?
What does this have to do with freestyle? That happened a year and change ago, prior to COVID, like a month before COVID. No, not a month. 2 weeks before COVID started.
Okay, before you continue, what was the result of that?
Nothing. My charge. I bailed. I posted bail. I got out the following night I got arrested Saturday. I got out Sunday night at 9:00. They had me in maximum security, like I was with the killers. Like if I really did something, I really didn't do anything, but I was in there. No one recognized me. No big deal. But my face was in the papers the following day. No one wrote. No one got online and sent it. No one, nothing. Then I get this crab, and I'm calling him a crab. A year later, and says, "Yo, no, nigga, you trying to extort me by telling me this shit." So, pardon me. There's a guy in the freestyle community who's a lowlife, and he tried to extort me by using my mugshot against me. He had a conversation with a friend. The friend said, calm down. And since then, he's been trying to go around and play with the problematic circles or the people who he thinks could start trouble to use my thing. So I'm taking the power away. Here, look, it's my mugshot. You want to see me? Look, in my mugshot. I'm covering up the face of the guy before. That was me. I look pretty good, right? I got a tan. You can see my tan line on top. But now you don't got the power. The funny thing is, Papi, that I'm still going to see you. And usually I don't talk to say this stuff online. I don't really like it, but we're gonna see each other. I can't wait to kiss you.
Yeah, I hope nothing violent happens, and I just wanted you to tell that story. So again, it's the freestyle community, right? So they'll take something like that out of contents and they'll put it on social media, and then they'll start a freestyle cancel culture, which is the fakest thing in our community.
This is what freestyle's become.
Mm-hmm.
Freestyle's become this. I want to have one over on you. I want to control who you are. I want to stop you from things.
I've had that before.
Here's the funny thing.
Failed.
Let's talk about freestyle wars. I'm going to say things to you guys that you guys is going to drive you nuts. Latif Mercado and we converse once a month. Latif Mercado and Sal email each other on a regular basis.
Right.
Ooh, that's going to ruin the world. The hate. We're shifting the hate here. Do you get what I'm saying to you? So when you guys want to start wars, you guys don't even know what it is. You're just talking crap. Like they're still talking about me on some of these pages because Frank used to drop me in the CMG thing because he used to put my name on the CMG thing. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm TKA. I'm K7. I'm Actual. I got a couple of other names that I got from different projects that I have. I got so many different things. I'm a Fever boy. I'm a Nene Music boy. I'm an AMPM boy. I'm a Vic Latino guy. I'm an Alan Beck artist. Pretty soon I'll be on the Bobby D thing too.
Right.
I'm a Betty Troy kid, right? These are all people who've booked me. These are all people who've name dropped me and put me in their rosters. Back in the day, I was a Latif Mercado boy. I was on Live Entertainment too. So I've been part of a whole bunch of different rosters. So when you look to knock down people because they're part of, right now I'm a Clubhouse boy too. I'm one of the horsemen. I'm autistic. I'm forever gonna be a Tommy Boy kid too. I'm part of a whole bunch of different things. I got friends. I'm part of Loose Touch. Those are my boys. I'm part of Trilogy. Those are my boys. I run with them. Those are my people.
Right.
I'm part of Suave. Me and Noel are good. I'm part of Noel. I got a whole bunch of friends that say that. They're gonna name drop me because they're my people. But I'm my own man. And I got my own family. True Crew, Actual. Those are my things. So I'm made already. They might name drop me in all these different places, but I'm already made. I got my brand. These are my brands. My brand is TKA, K7, Actual. Those are my brands. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a couple of other ones that I'm keeping secret until you guys see them. But yeah, these are my brands. Don't get confused. And don't ever fool yourselves into thinking that some of these artists that you think are soft are soft. Because y'all talk some nonsense, but you don't know what's really happening. And I don't want to dare you because, you guys act, somebody will tell you to do something, then you go opposite, and it's going to catch y'all. I'm just saying, please, focus on the music. This is music about love. We should concentrate on that. We should concentrate on helping this movement achieve something. Look, since the pandemic, the one thing about freestyle during the pandemic was, whether it was old freestyle, or records being released during this time, is that the music still made you feel good and it still felt timeless. If we could impress people like the kids like Ken Starr to want to do a freestyle challenge for freestyle, even though it started off as a joke or gimmicky joke, but it turned out into something serious, that he wants to try to sing a freestyle song and host freestyle shows, think about it. There may be something viable.
I love the Ken Starr. Shout out to him and thank you, for thinking of our music and wanting to be part of it.
Let's stop, let's take this seriously and let's stop playing, because the bochinche, the cancel culture, come on, stop, man. It's silly. What do you, handle your beefs by doing one important thing. We could fix any beef we have with this. That's my daughter, by the way. We pick these things up every 2 minutes to check our timelines. We pick these things up every 2 minutes to call someone else.
Well, you do agree. Your enemy. You do agree that there are things that are beyond repair. So when things are beyond repair with words, what you do is you just ignore, or you wish them well and you go on your separate way. I don't want anything to happen to anyone that I have been in contact with or that I care about in this industry. I don't want violence. What I want is for people to focus on the music itself. And so I have you guys on to have conversations, because sometimes we do need to express ourselves, because we have a lot of people, especially the fans that we have armored into going to social media and start speaking for us. I think that it's time for artists to stop using the fans. And so the issue that I see is that the issues in freestyle are created by the artists. For the most part, is the new school freestyle artists that are the most
Stop
vocal.
it.
That now you say new wave, is the new school freestyle artists that are
There's no
starting.
new school.
Well, we do have younger people that are under 21, right? So
They're not talking crap.
yeah, I know they're not. They're making great music.
It's
So
the people that are the same age that are talking crap. It's same age freestyle.
the same age freestyle people, right, are the same ones that are starting the issues, are the same ones that are dividing, are the same ones that are telling you don't do this, don't do that. They are the wannabe freestyle Illuminati, right? They're the ones who want to have the power, but they don't understand that the power they can never have it because they don't know how to handle the fandom.
I started by cracking a joke saying that I was part of the freestyle Illuminati. The real freestyle Illuminati is the cancel culture that's trying to cancel everybody out. Right. That's the real freestyle Illuminati.
It's the people that are trying to do aha moments on a daily basis. You guys are aha. You guys are tired. And it's tired because it's been the same argument for 3 years in a row.
Longer than
the same ones that are brought up on a daily basis have been going on for 3 years. I'm not talking about the old school beef. I'm talking about the same age beef that's been going on for 3 years straight.
Oh, and we haven't talked about the makeup to breakup relationships. You guys hate each other on Monday and then get back together on Friday. And that makeup to breakup thing is annoying because in the meantime, people like Jose and myself and a few other people are privy to how much you hate the other person.
Right.
And you get told the story, oh, I hate him so much. Oh my God, I hate this guy. Oh my God, this is the bane of my existence. Oh my God, this guy pisses me off so much. And then 2 minutes later, you guys are the bosom buddies.
Exactly. And that is exactly what's happened in the first 6 months of 2021.
And it's not the women.
And no, it's men. These are the men in freestyle.
The majority is the men in freestyle.
Yes. And I mean, we don't have enough time to get into the subject. And I want to thank you for taking the time to come on Clubhouse Live. We'll talk soon. Thank you for disarming the inboxes that I've received with your mugshot, because I do have it. It's not my place to talk about stuff like that. I let you do it here.
They've sent it to you too?
Yeah, of course. They sent the link,
same guy?
No, it's just different people that they do it. Look what I found. Oh my God, it's not the only one, because even the DJs are trying to cancel the other DJs. Like, I got information on various DJs that you've seen in different platforms, and I'm like, why do I care? That doesn't do nothing for the music. I'm not gonna use this stuff. I'm not gonna put that out there. One thing that we do need to talk about, right, is people with the greatest hits albums that never had a hit. It's like a blank CD, right, or a blank USB drive. So we'll leave it here, and we'll continue with that next time on CPR's Clubhouse Live. I love you, my brother. Thank you for the.
I love you, bro. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye. Once again, that's TKA K7 Actual as part of CPR's Clubhouse Live, and I'm here again doing the show. We discussed CPR's Clubhouse, the podcast. We're coming up on 700 episodes of the CPR's Clubhouse Freestyle podcast, available on all your digital platforms like Apple Podcasts. We're even available on what is that app where you get the books? Audible.com. We're even available on Audible. We're available on Amazon Music. But I've come to that decision where I got this bill for $947, and I'm like, is that I think they added a 7 or something, and you start thinking like, do I really want to continue doing this? And of course I do. I have a passionate love for freestyle, and sometimes I just get frustrated. But I'll try to find a way to keep the podcast going. I want to thank the people that reached out to help. I know there were some people that want to do a GoFundMe, but for me, GoFundMe is for people who have had personal loss or tragedy or have a medical issue. It's not for podcasting. And the people that use my Cash App to send me money to go towards the bill, I appreciate you. I want to send a special shout out to KO Kirby. Shout out to you. He's trying to assist me and trying to find different methods for me to save money and get my website to another place. So, we'll let you know what's going to happen this week. We're going to have another episode of CPR's Clubhouse, the podcast, the CPR's Top 10 Countdown. We'll let you know who's number one. Currently, Nelson Rego's We Weren't Meant to Be has been number one for 3 weeks in a row. And so we're going to see if he makes it to 4 weeks or if Jasmine Dennis Stars remix by Artistic Recordings is going to trump it and be number one. If you want to vote, go to the CPR's Clubhouse Live, the page on social media, so you can vote. There's a poll there as well. But my name is CPR Jose Ortiz. And again, I hope some of the information that you've heard here has informed you and put you with some actual information. Thank you to Gino Caporale. I can't wait to spin some of the new freestyle music. This hat is very tight right now, so I'm going to let you go. I want to thank you for watching this episode of CPR's Clubhouse Live. And if you have any feedback, make sure you come to the YouTube channel and leave it there. Or you can email me at mindyourownbusiness.com. All right. Talk to you later.